Hello, this is Spellbinder with this news report. I have two of them here. One's from the Examiner and one's from Kurt Nemo, writer for Infowars.com. And this one here, it's Obama's Department of Justice puts out Master Patriot hit list. And this one here basically covers the Department of Justice has fired a servo in the war against Patriot Americans supporting the Constitution and Bill of Rights. The Department of Justice has issued investigating terrorism and criminal extremism terms and concepts, which you get there when you go to this website or this particular webpage. It's a 120-page propaganda addendum described as glossary designed primarily as a tool for criminal justice professionals to enhance their understanding of the words relating to extremist terminology, phrases, activities, symbols, organizations, selected names that they may encounter while conducting criminal investigations or prosecutions of members of extremist organizations. Yes, believing in mom and apple pie and baseball is now an extremist terrorist term. People better start waking up. This is coming down the pike at you like a freight train, going 100 miles an hour, and if you don't get the hell out of its way or put something to turn the damn thing off to stop it, you're gonna, next thing you know is you're mentioning mom, apple pie, and baseball in a single phrase and be slammed to the ground, tasered, and dragged away, never to be seen again. This is coming down the pike. I'm telling you right now, this is the evilness that's in our country now. The glossary described the word Constitution as a generic term for members of Patriot movement. It is now often used to refer to members of the sovereign citizen or common law court movement. Sometimes the word Constitutionist is also used. According to the Merriam-Webster, a constitutionalist is a person who adheres to a form of government according to constitutional principles, which means I don't tell you what to do, and you don't tell me what to do. And as long as I hurt no one and you hurt no one, we're okay. We're on the same page. But no, they want it so we think you're doing something wrong. We know you're doing something wrong because we think so, because we're your gods. You're our servants. It's the other way around. I don't know when the government got twisted, thinking that we're now their servants instead of them being ours. As far as I ever knew, from the history of the beginning of this country, when they went in that office, they were there to be our servants. They took their time off from their normal life to be a servant to the public and do as the public wanted to get things done to make things better in this country. Some reason now they get in there and they act like this is my royalty. I'm here to tell you what to do. I am now your master and you are my servant, the people. This is just not how it is. I don't know where they got the crazy ideals that they got, but that's what they're believing in now. The Department of Justice is now apparently in the business of newspeak. In his dystopian novel on totalitarian government, 1984, George Orwell introduced the term doublethink, from which the term newspeak and doublethink were later derived. Newspeak has come to mean any attempt by the government to restrict or modify language. The Department of Justice, in an effort to further demonize growing patriot movement, has attempted to redefine the word constitutionist in true newspeak fashion. The word constitutionist is now shorthand for the sovereign citizen movement. In other words, people who support the Constitution, Bill of Rights are violent cop killers. Yeah, believe that and I can sell you property on Mars and you'll give me everything, your firstborn and everything, because you'll believe that. You believe I can sell you property on Mars and you'll be able to go there tomorrow. This is craziness. The cops believe that. They're nuts. Earlier this year, 2 West Memphis, Arkansas police officers were killed in a shootout allegedly involving a man and his son who were supposedly linked to the sovereign citizen movement in Ohio and Florida. Prior to this incident, the FBI, an agency under the Department of Justice, profiled a domestic terror threat posed by the sovereign citizen movement. Sovereign citizens are anti-government extremists who believe that even though they are physically reside in this country, they are separate or sovereign from the United States. As a result, they believe they don't have to answer to any government authority, including courts, taxing entities, motor vehicle departments, or law enforcement. The FBI wrote April 13, 2010. The FBI provides contact information for training in people who espouse the bogus claim and scams of sovereign citizens. The Department of Justice prefaces its glossary by stating that the fact that an entry appears in this publication does not imply a connection to illegal activity, and then proceeds to connect constitutionalists to alleged cop killers. In addition, the Department of Justice glossary attempts to criminalize people who use the term New World Order, Bilderberg Group, Trilateral Commission, Council on Foreign Relations, and One World Government, the latter term. According to the Department of Justice, obviously under the ideological sway of the Anti-Defamation League and the Southern Poverty Law Center, is used by some right-wing extremists to claim white people will be in the minority with the Jewish people ultimately controlling the world. In short, if you believe there is an effort to establish a world government, you are an anti-Semite or Semitic Jew hater, which isn't true. All that they're trying to tell them is just wrong. I mean, the news media uses the word New World Order. Bilderberg Group met today. Trilateral Commission met today. Council Foreign. It's okay if the mainstream corporate news media, CNN, CNBC, MSNBC, Fox, all of them say it. It's okay. But if you say it, my God, you must be a terrorist. You must be out to destroy the world. And start drooling and stuff. I mean, this is the craziness. People have to have pretty low IQs to believe any of what they're trying to teach them. If these police officers and stuff are believing this. The Department of Justice glossary arrives at their appearance in the Department of Homeland Security's report on right-wing extremism, and similar report produced by the Missouri Information Analysis Center, the MIAC, and leaked to Alex Jones by a police officer last year. The MIAC report specifically singles out supporters of Ron Paul and Chuck Baldwin, the presidential nominees of the Constitution Party in 2008, as domestic terrorists posing a threat to law enforcement. Believe me, law enforcement, if you believe that, you have a lower IQ than mud. You know, you're below 60. I don't know how you tie your shoes and go to work if you believe that crap. If you believe that Ron Paul and Reverend Chuck Baldwin is a terrorist, then you're sick in the head. The Department of Justice glossary will be used by the federal government and increasingly federalized law enforcement to criminalize language used by the Patriot movement. It will also use an effort to compile a hit list of patriots and target them as threats to national security. The glossary is part of an ongoing campaign to demonize those of us who insist the United States is a constitutional republic and portray people who insist the government respect and follow the Constitution and Bill of Rights as violent cop killers and white supremacist extremists. For more on the Department of Justice glossary, you can go there, and I'll have this all listed. That's the first story. Now the second story. This is one put out by the Examiner with Deborah Dupre. Let's kill all good guys. The Central Intelligence Agency, private security contractors, mercenaries such as Blackwater, USA, and XE for the U.S. locate and assassinate Americans program in existence according to the government officials, and reported by Stephen Crowley in the New York Times, receives a little more media coverage this week thanks to Chuck Norris and Paul Craig Roberts. Apparently they're terrorists because they're speaking against the great God government. Oh my God, and you can't be doing that. Still hidden, however, is that the program has been operational on the U.S. soil against innocent Americans and is intensifying. It is not a matter of if or when the program advances to include dissidents and other innocent targeted individuals. A targeted individual is a person targeted by extreme forms of harassment such as contempt. The target is specifically targeted or singled out for deliberate psychological social targeting, which has the ability to destroy their lives and livelihood over time. Targeted individuals frequently ask questions. You can look it up there. Private investigator Bill Taylor, who has investigated 300 to 400 targeted individual cases, stated last week that these targets are the greatest Americans. C. Dupree secretly forced brain implants. SS FBI contractor defends targets and secretly forced brain implants. Part 4. Intel experts on the doctor's children military research. Some of Taylor's investigations include Karen Silkwood's death, the Atlanta missing and murdered children's case, the Greensboro murders, and the Iran-Contra case. The Cotepro that shocked the nation after the Church Committee investigation never ended, according to the former FBI agent M. Wesley Smearinger. The news operates globally under a different code name, more sophisticated, with access to modern weapons. During a recent interview with Taylor, he stated that there needs to be a greater public awareness of the Phoenix program. Obama targeted individual assassination Phoenix program includes Americans. Examiner, April 8, 2010. Targets those well enough in the struggle to survive Bush-Obama's cruel and inhumane treatment programs, have filed letters with government officials about this homegrown terrorist program, seeking to expose the government program and expurge the tens of thousands of innocent watch-listed targeted individuals. In other words, you get on a list if you say anything against the God government. A call has been made to Senate Judiciary Committees to conduct an investigation of program ruining lives of an untold number of Americans through surveillance. That includes covert direct energy weapon assaults. At least 1/10 of Taylor's targeted individuals have been currently implanted with devices to aid in tracking, electronically torturing and inducing a slow killing of them. In other words, the radiation side effects of their devices. Mainstream news blacks out targeted individual reports. WikiLeaks has not blatantly exposed the magnitude of targeted individuals' plight in the U.S. The public remains unaware of domestic terrorists operating in ordinary American communities. The lack of awareness results in targeted, isolated, and thus easier to target. In other words, these domestic terrorist attacks are actually the government agencies attacking people and spying on them, and they're actually the real terrorists. Bill Van Otken report in 2001, President George W. Bush overturned Ford's ruling barring the CIA from directly carrying out assassinations or contracting them out to others, issuing his own intelligence finding that such restrictions no longer applied in the global war on terrorism. Oh yeah, once they created a terror status in America, they can now kill Americans. Isn't that great? You can be targeted for going to a protest. Sounds like America, huh? Mercenaries and assassins, the real face of Obama's good war. Bill Van Otken, December 15, 2009. The Democrats offered no objections and the media has treated it entirely as a matter of course while backing out any serious reporting on the resulting carnage and victims, wrote Van Otken. April 8, the Human Rights Examiner wrote, Obama has now authorized what Bush began, assassinating targeted individuals, including Americans, on U.S. soil, confirming that the new Global Phoenix program, recommended by General Patriot in 2009, is now officially operational. Obama targeted individual assassination Phoenix program includes Americans. Now, Chuck Norris reports Obama's U.S. assassination program, citing Obama regime security officials that the next stage is to criminalize dissident and criticism of the government. Now, when you criticize the government, you get to be a target. Paul Craig Robert writes in his op-ed news, in May 2010, the National Security Strategy state that we are now moving beyond traditional distinctions between homeland and national security. This included determination to prevent terrorist attacks against the American people by fully coordinating the actions that we take abroad with the actions and precautions that we take at home. Deputy National Secretary Advisor John Brennan recently explained that more steps are being taken because of the growing number of Americans who have been captivated by extremist ideology or causes. Yeah, the Constitution is an extremist ideology and the Bill of Rights. This is a concern that the targeted killings that the U.S. has been conducting overseas is likely to occur in the U.S., not concerned that it is and has been occurring with survivor scars, induced disease, and even death at reflecting it. Robert continues, in pursuit of the hegemony over both the world and its own subjects, the U.S. government is shutting down the First Amendment and turning criticism of the government into an act of domestic extremism, a capital crime punishable by execution, just as it was in Hitler's Germany or Stalin's Russia. The new Jews are targeted individuals. Their pleas to human rights groups continue to be rejected, with rare exceptions of individual members. Such organizations continue to focus on related abuses overseas, especially with WikiLeaks PR to do so. Despite the abuse, including torture and torture to death, civilian casualties consistently reported by targets on American soil. Well, that's all I can read right now of it. You can read this. I'll have links to all of this. So until next time, this is Spellbinder. Be good at it. Good day.